I think that's us live. If anybody wants to say anything, that would be great, just for testing purposes. So, welcome. Hello, my name is John Thoumire, and again we're going to do another brief introduction to some cuttings. This is definitely a work in progress, so if you've any issues, please just let me know. At the moment it's very much a family affair, so hi Si, hi Mum, thanks for joining me, very happy at that. I'm seeing multiple accounts, so great. iPads, iPods, or whatever, I don't even think iPod's a thing anymore. So, we're going to be doing this beautiful plant this week, which is Tradescantia zebrina. So, we'll get to that in a sec. I want to address first that I'm going to be trying not to use any superlatives today. My last live stream, I basically was hemorrhaging brain cells, and it just didn't do my vocabulary any favours. I'm going to do my best not to use any. I think possibly as the days go on and the live streams go on, we'll start doing superlative bingo. And anyone who feels that they want to kind of join in and help me with this, that's great. The other thing is, as always, it's a live stream. There is a dog. He is inevitably going to bark. There's probably going to be somebody wander into my back garden. I don't know why. They just might. But anyway, let's move on. So, Tradescantia zebrina. This is very much a tropical plant. It's native to Mexico and really Central America, South America. I've had the fortune to actually work with this personally in the Caribbean and South America actually, and over there it's classed as an invasive weed because it will just run and run and run. It's a beautiful thing, but superlative, whoops. But if left to its own devices in the right climate, it will just go totally insane. So I would say you can actually put this outside if you live in the warmer parts of the UK, but really it's an indoor plant. And I mean, it just trails and trails. Look at this. And if it catches the light, it actually starts to sparkle. No superlative. So, okay, let's have a wee peek at this. So we're going to take some... Whoop. The other thing is I've had to adapt the camera position here because in my last stream for cuttings, you couldn't really see anything. And so the camera is a little bit further down, I'm sitting down, but you also get a little bit closer look at my handiwork, which is this table. And I'm no handyman, I really amn't. Plants I'm good with, but I get all this skill from my own father, who truly believes that everything can be fixed with a hammer and nail. And I mean, my brothers and sister and I, we grew up in the south of Edinburgh, and we had this big coffee table, a big square coffee table in the middle of the room, and my dad's armchair was just to the side of it. I mean, really, you had to squeeze through it to get it. And at some point, a leg buckled or something, and he just hammered away some nails into it. And it wasn't ideal because he didn't hammer them that far in. And to this day, all his children have scars just below the knee from where we would have to squeeze past. The dog we had at the time, his name was Huey, this beautiful beauty collie, superlative. He had this permanent like racing stripe of scars over here. And yeah, I just get this from that. So, and apparently for some reason, my father is actually trying to call me. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes? No? Anyway, I'm going to continue anyway. So, even to this day, my father, his handyman skills basically rely on brute force and a hammer. Not only a few weeks ago, I was sitting with them in their garden, and my mum and I were having a discussion, and then suddenly she starts going like this, and my dad's got a hammer, and he's absolutely smacking away at the chair, and both mum and I are kind of looking a little bit bewildered at this, and then my dad looks up at me and goes, and wanders off. Meanwhile, it's like mum's lost half of her tea and has a mild case of hip dysplasia. Anyway, Tradescantia zebrina. So, again, you want a clean, sharp knife, okay? Again, boiling hot water will do it. If you have white spirits, that will do it as well. You just want it clean. So, we're actually going to take it off this. This I took from an indoor section of wall I look after and designed. And these cuttings were taken maybe 4 months ago. When you plant this, this really does grow very quickly. So we're going to take a cutting off this. So remember what the thing is, okay? You want 2 nodes. 2 nodes. That's what you want when you're planting these things. I'm actually going to try something else, actually. Now, these plants, as I say, they're invasive weeds when you go to the tropics. And they have this adaptation where you can brush past them and they just snap off. So let's give that a shot, just so you can see what I mean, because you can even do this with propagation. So we've got this, and I think you can see it. I know the comments are actually over it, but we're going for this section here. Okay, perfect. I don't know if you heard the snap, but yeah, that was a snap. So this is it. We're going to take this bit off. And we're going to take these lower leaves off. Again. Okay. And one more. So, this is a node. This is a node. And right here is a node. What we're going to do is we're going to cut it off about here. So I'm not going to do the snap, I'm going to use the knife for this one. So we've got a nice straight bit. Hopefully you can see this. One cut. Okay. So in a lot of these situations you maybe want to think about halving the leaves. Not with this plant, okay? So, got this. This is just a mixture of coir and perlite. You just want cuttings compost, okay? Cuttings soil for this. Do I know any odes? Not at the moment, Si. If you would like to suggest them. Don't do it in broad Scots. You don't want to hear that. I'll mangle it. And I think Alex has joined us. Hi Alex, nice to see you. I know Alex isn't exactly a planty person, so I appreciate his joining this. So we're just going to do this right here. Make a hole. And again, you want both of these nodes in here. Maybe a little bit deeper. Okay. So we're going to do this a couple more times. That's what is in there. You could even take this, okay? This is the one we pulled off. We took it off at a node. It's got another node in there. So let's just put it in. So with a lot of cuttings and things like this, you don't really want to overcrowd. You don't really want to overcrowd the pot, because I see we've got Russia joining us, Privet. So you don't want to overcrowd the pot. But with this plant, you really can, because they basically grow vertical. The roots shoot out, but they grow vertical. So I've got some that I took the other day. Again, these have been steeping in water. And you can see here, I only took these on Wednesday. It's already started to root. These bits here. So we're going to do the same thing though, because you can actually get multiple cuttings out of this. These, by the way, are called stem cuttings because they're coming off the stem. Last week we did chorizo, and that was a leaf cutting. So I should have said that at the beginning, but we're using stem cuttings today. So again, take off the lower leaves. You want to leave some lower leaves on. I think we'll take one more off. Okay, so again, I'm actually going to do a little bit of an experiment on this one as well. Whoop, hey, live TV. How's the superlative count going? Am I still messing up there? Just because of the amount that you can put in this is in response to Elizabeth, do you plant them around the edge or in the middle? You can actually fit them all in a lot more closer in this one. I'll show you an existing cutting in just a second, and you'll see that they have a very compact root system that spreads out. It's very fibrous, and what happens is they all bind together just to create the one plant. 2 seconds. So this is the roots. That's a node, one node, two nodes. We're going to cut this here. And I'm actually going to plant this. And we'll call it a bit of an experiment. I've never done it this way before. Okay, so that's that in. This will just be taken as a more traditional cutting. Okay, so again, one node, two nodes, and this is the third node, but we're just going to plant it as deep as this, okay? Apology for the shaky hands. Okay. Again, there you go, and we have one more that we're just going to finish off. Again, this was also taken on Wednesday. You can actually see the roots growing from the individual nodes here. Okay, so this has actually just been sitting in water since Wednesday. Now this is something that you can do with many different sorts, particularly these kind of very fleshy plants. You can put them in water. We're going to look at that in another video, just because sometimes if you've grown them just from water and then put them into the soil, they don't do so well. It's better if you can naturalize them in soil itself. But we will look at that another time, I promise. If not, feel free to mention in the comments that I'm a lying hound. Don't do that. Right, so getting rid of the leaves. Okay, so one node, two node, three node. One cut. We can do the same experiment with this and just put it in. I should also say, you'll see when you do these cuttings, there's a white sap that comes out of it. Not white, it's like translucent sap. Some people might find, if they're doing this a lot, they might get an irritant. I'm okay with this, I don't know why. I'm handling these all the time. I've taken hundreds of these cuttings. And in actual fact, I've probably got way too many. But they do make great gifts. Just put them in little popping, like stocking filler, things like that. That's right. You all know what you're getting for your gift, your Christmas this year. So, we're going to take another one. This is going to be the next cutting. Okay, just below there. I'm going to cut it off here. You want to try and cut off excess bits of the stem above the node that doesn't have the leaf, because it might just introduce some bugs or disease into the plant. Okay, at this stage, as easy as these plants are to keep going with, you don't want to unnecessarily subject them to something that's going to harm them. So this is the last one, taking off the leaf. Watch when you're pulling the leaves, just because they might strip down the length of the stem, and that is basically an open wound, and you put that in the soil, it's not going to enjoy that. It'll probably kill it off. So one more. And this is just for Elizabeth. We'll put it right in the middle, just for you. Okay. So, I have a wee note on my script, because last week I was doing the Tradescantia cuttings. I talked about spraying the cuttings afterwards. I only did it with one. It was picked up. I get that. Fair enough. So, we're going to do it this time. Basically, it's just water in here. Alright, a light spray. All good. Now, I just want to show you. So those have been done now. This was done about, I think I said 4 months ago. This one I did maybe 4 weeks ago, probably less, 3 weeks ago. And you can see here already how quickly the roots have grown. And you can see them growing from here. You can see them growing from there. If those were planted deeper, there'd be even more roots. That's how easy these are, okay? So I'm just going to put this back in the pot. Again, if you're doing this sort of thing, watch out because of that adaptation that the stems actually have. You just want to watch that they don't kind of snap right off. Okay, so that's that. So that is pretty much us. Next week we're going to look at begonia cuttings, and they're going to be from the leaf. And I'm also going to show you a little bit about transplanting some peperomania that I've had soaking in water for a little while. But thank you for joining me. If you've any other questions, just give me... Oh, there is one question here. Rooting powder. Not with these plants. It's absolutely not necessary. They're just designed to grow very, very quickly and very, very easily. So really you don't need to invest in the rooting powder for these things. Okay, so that's Tradescantia, zebrina. Beautiful plant. I will find another superlative, I promise you. Right now I've just got like a puddle of brain cells at my feet. Please join me next week. Also, later this week I'll be doing a live stream from Hopeton Gardens, which is in West Lothian. Lovely place. And I think that's us for today. So again, thank you so much for joining me, and take care. Have a great weekend.